You're listening to the AZREIA Show. If you're looking for quality real estate investing information that you can trust, you've found it. Stay tuned and join the tens of thousands of members that have already benefited from AZREIA, your home for education, market information, support, and networking opportunities that will advance your real estate investing career.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the AZREIA Show. This is your weekly dose of real talk, real deals, and real estate success right here in Arizona. And today we have a very special guest, third time on the show, Aaron Chapman, and he brought his brother, Eric Chapman, to the show, and we're going to be talking about Redneckonomics. So, Aaron, Eric, welcome to the show, man. How you guys doing?
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Great. Thank you.
All right. So, unconventional success by taking the beating path. Taking the beating path. Tell us, what was the inspiration behind the book?
Well, number one, you're adding a G in there that doesn't exist. Taking the beaten path.
Okay.
So the beaten path, a lot of people tell me that was misspelled when you're talking about the beaten path, because you're thinking the beaten path is one that has been well worn from people taking that path. Mm-hmm. In reality, when you look at the way this is spelled, it's the beaten path, meaning the ass beating that you're going to take trying to find your success. Because all success has ass beatings within it. There's not a single person that is successful has not taken some form of beating. Yeah. What's interesting to me when you understand the beating of life is that we don't remember our successes very often, right? Think about the deals where you won, right? Mm-hmm. You don't remember them so well, but you remember the ones you lost. Yeah. You remember them with unbelievable clarity. So what I've found is that we retain what causes us pain. And what caused me to write this book goes all the way back to 2008, the crash of 2008. It was August 8th, 2008. Eight's always been my lucky number. Jumping on a Harley, heading out of town, going to get my head clear. At the time, my business was still working good. Even though the market was starting to implode, I was still, pulling in a good, solid six figures. Had a net worth of, close to about $4 million. I was 190 pounds, in the best shape of my life. And within 15 minutes into that ride, there was a 17-year-old driving his dad's truck that put me into another vehicle. Wow. At the 101, the 202, I went skidding to a stop into the Real Salado exit. Wow. And as a result of that accident, I found myself wheelchair bound with memory that would recycle every 3 to 4 minutes, and a business that was just imploding. And I lost everything except for my house and a couple vehicles. And as a result of that, I went into the hospital, 190 pounds, worth approximately $4 million. And I wheeled out in a wheelchair at 156 pounds with a negative net worth of 1.5 and a business that was completely obliterated. So when I started to rebuild that, I had to go through the process of reconstructing all those things and taking those phone calls from those creditors. Mm-hmm. I found that I was lucky. I mean, you guys who lived through that, you had creditors calling you and you're like, yeah, I lost my job, or business is not good. Right. I had them call me and say, hey, what's going on? How come you haven't paid your bills? And I just shipped them my first week's, or faxed them my first week's medical bill for $1.7 million for the first week. They're like, okay, what can we do to help? Right. And I got help. It was actually we worked out to where I could get myself square with the world, started over. Well, in that start over, there was lessons that I retained because of all that pain. It was an enormous amount of pain. And it wasn't just physical pain. It was the mental pain. It was the trying to remember what was happening. Carrying around a notepad with notes of my life because I don't remember 3 minutes later what I just committed to. You have two realtors, my mom and then C.J. Irby with Caldwell Banker. They were both realtors that were still doing business. They would send me referrals. And when they would call me and say, hey, did you talk to that person? I'm like, what person? Get your pad, write this down. Right. And I would write it down, then I'd call that person and scratch it off and take notes. Sometimes I'd find something on my notepad not scratched off, so I'd make the call. Then the person's like, yeah, we just talked. Oof. Mm. Like, oh, what did we say? Because I got to take notes. And I had to explain to them why they're trusting a guy they were just referred to that didn't even remember them from 10 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. Right? So it was life lessons that I got there. So what am I going to do with these life lessons? So I started just typing on a what was it? It was a Samsung Galaxy 10 tablet. And I typed 370 pages of stuff to give to my kids. And then I'm at an event and somebody's talking about publishing a book. I'm like, I want to publish this. So I reached out to the person they recommended. They took it, they read it, and like, well, nobody gives it. She said, write something that somebody gives a shit about. So I wrote something that people give a shit about, I thought at least. 4 little books that I just took chapters from that, condensed them down, 30 pages apiece, gave them their own cover, little like dime novels of the 1800s. And then I went to another event where Robert Allen was the keynote speaker. And he said his whole talk was not about real estate. It was on what not to do when writing a book. I did all 10 of them. I did. So he said, hey, connect with me if you're interested. So I connected with him, say, I need you to take a look at these 4. I've got 4 more to publish, so a total of 8, because again, 8's my number.
Right.
And I did everything you said I shouldn't do, so I'm going to pull these back from the publisher and rewrite them. He goes, nope, you're going to write a whole nother book. I'm like, what am I going to write? He goes, you tell me. Wow. We went back and forth, and we created an outline, and what you have from that outline is this, Redneckonomics.
And Robert Allen wrote the foreword. Correct.
Robert Allen wrote the foreword. So he convinced me to write it. He helped me do the outline, which was really interesting, and then I just ran with it. I'd send him a chapter. He goes, perfect, go to the next one. I'm like...
So I'm going to jump in. So Eric, your brother, he did the illustrations. So how did you feel when he got in that accident?
Oh, the accident was awful, man.
Yeah,
I remember, oddly enough, I was on my way home from work when the accident had happened.
Okay.
And so I was stuck in traffic because of it. And I didn't know it was my own brother, you know.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, so I'm just complaining about the traffic, complaining about let's get this going.
Some asshole on a motorcycle.
Yeah, let's just get this guy off. Let's
That's
go,
wild,
you know.
man.
And that was Aaron. That was awful. And I remember we went to the hospital that night. He was in a stretcher just completely out, you know, and he doesn't remember any of that when he showed up. It was devastating, absolutely devastating. But I do remember when he showed up at the office, because I used to work at the same place he was working.
Okay.
I was in the mortgage business for a long time. And I'll never forget the day he wheeled in on the wheelchair. And all
Back to the
skinny.
office?
Yeah, and everybody was so happy to see him.
Good,
It was just amazing to see him make the progress he did. See him go from being wheelchair bound to getting on his feet again and all of that. It was a huge shift. It changed him. It really changed him. So it was inspirational. Absolutely.
I can honestly say I'm not the man that I was prior to that accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God has a way of changing you, and in my world, dramatically. Right? It was. I look at that as the blessing or the divine gift of an accelerated education. He moved me decades in my mindset and in my capabilities because of that incident. So it was like, let me bounce twice and then catch and then just lay you down on that hot pavement. I don't know if you guys have laid down in August in Arizona on the pavement, but it's not a comfortable place to be. So I had not only the road rash, but the burns were remarkable.
And it's funny, Aaron, and I never told Mike this, but I can relate. I went down, road rash, all of this from being down on a motorcycle. So I understand when you seeing that pavement and you just black out is something different, man. So it definitely changed you in an instance, and now you're like, okay, what really is important in life, right? Is it all of my clients? Is it this? Is it that? You know, and you get a different perspective, just like you were saying.
Yeah, the perspective I came away with is the important things are what we take with us, which is relationships and experience. That's it, right? We may do business together. We may end up making money together, but it's the relationship I have with you, and it's the relationship I have with you, and the relationship I have with him, and what we get to remember of each other. You know, some of the things that I gained in laying in that hospital bed was watching my youngest, Maggie. She was a pistol anyway, she still is, but her jumping up and she did something really funny, and I vaguely remember, I don't even remember what she did, I just remember, and I really heavily remember the realization that I will never see that again. That moment's gone. And I was blessed to witness it. And had I not been laying in that bed, I would never have seen that. Now I get to lament all the things that I missed. And as you age, right? You know, and I'm a grandfather. And what I discovered is becoming a grandfather is you finally get to understand what it is to be a father when you become a grandfather. Then you lament all that you did as a father, because now you're watching your own child raise something that you love just as much as your own kid, and sometimes more than your own kids. Then you got to hand them back to your kid and say, okay, I'm trusting you to do better than I did.
Yep.
And then you get to, there's times that you're alone, because I am alone a lot. I travel a lot, and I sit there and get to think back on the things that are gone, that I've missed, but I still get to interact with those people. I still get to talk about those times. So when we leave here, it's the relationship, the experience, and those are the important things. And if we get to do business together, make money together, great. And if that money creates an opportunity for us to go hunting in New Zealand, then great. Let's go do those things.
Right.
That's what it's all about, and that's where I find the success of life today.
And there's one quote that I always stand on, and it's, you can never do good business with bad people, right? No matter how successful you may think that business is, when you do business with bad people, it reflects internally in you. So just to hear this story and everything like that regarding, the root of this book, man, kudos to you for persevering and going through everything, and you and your brother working together, to get on the other side of that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I got one of the big compliments I received very recently, was my father-in-law when he read this. He said, "You suffered a lot, so people can get lessons. You need to make sure they're all hear it."
Yep.
Wow. So on relationships, segue to beaten number 12.
Which one's that one?
Which stuck out to me. You say stop talking down on people and surround yourself with the people who build you up. But you also say something, you have to build them up too, or they won't stay around. So we always hear you are who you hang out with, right? But the key part that stuck out to me when I read that was like, those people that you're trying to be around and try to grow into, you got to build them up, like, or they're not going to stick around with you. And for me, like, that's something I've always been like shy about, right? Like, hey, Aaron, great job, da da da. Thanks for hooking me up with your buddy down Gilbert last year, right? Like, even though it's in me, it doesn't always come out, right? Yeah. So that was a very big lesson. I liked on Ask Beaten number 12.
Well, thank you, because I've seen people that try to place themselves in a superior position with the people around them by saying, well, this guy's an idiot does this, and this guy's an idiot does that, and they start just, forgive the term, but shitting on everybody that's in their sphere. Yeah. Like what you just told everybody, you're the bigger idiot because you're still around them.
Around them, yeah.
But if you're around badasses all the time, it's like, this guy's a badass, and that guy's a badass, and I hang out with Mike and Marcus and Eric, and these guys are badasses, and by just virtue of the fact that I'm there, I'm badass as well. Right? That's a big deal. Like some of the guys I hooked you up with. I hooked you up because these guys are badasses. Yeah. And what's cool about those guys is if I'm not in the room and I'm coming in, if they're describing me, some people think that there's a guy with a beard that's 10 foot tall and bulletproof walking in because of what they say, because they're that kind of guy. And you want to do the exact same thing for them. Because if you're not doing that for them, then they're eventually going to lose that connection.
Yeah. I thought that was a great one, man.
Thank you.
So I got a point in the book that I thought was very good. I think one of the greatest forms of blasphemy is to limit yourself. Can you expound on that?
Man, we're creative beings. We're creating the image of a all-powerful individual that was able to create the whole universe, organize the entire universe, right? If we are the offspring of that. Now think about my grandfather and my father, these guys, and what they were able to accomplish. My dad was a miner, and he was one of the best there was at underground mining. When I went underground, if I just sat down there on my phone and jerked off, believe me, it would be completely blasphemous for him to have said, yeah, bring my son in here. I know he can do that job.
Right.
I went down in there, and from what I understood from the guys who worked in the mines, from the day you walk into what they call the raise, and you drop down into that shaft, and you walk into that area where you're going to be working, you're running a 160-pound drill machine. You drill 32 holes in the rock. You fill it full of explosives. You blow that shit up. You come back around, dig it out, support the ground. You do what they call a cycle. It would take the average person 6 months underground experience to where they can cycle their first heading. I did it in 21 days. Wow. When I went up on that shift, they're like, your dad was right. He said that you would be a miner before any of these other guys. You went from a nipper to a miner in 21 days. He goes, I've been doing this for 45 years. I've never seen that. And that was the shift boss at that mine. But if I went down there and I didn't even do anything near that, and my dad vouched for me, and I completely screwed that whole thing up, that would have been a blasphemous move. So when we talk about us limiting ourselves, I can't do this. It's possible if we do this. I'm not built for that. You're limiting who you are, even though you're created with all the capabilities to do anything and everything. I think we're living in a blasphemous existence right now because we're not living up to our capabilities. Because it is hard. Because it does suck. Because it is the amount of stuff we have to do every single day to accomplish the smallest thing is a lot. Yeah. And the world is against you. Our government, our structure, everything is fighting against you. But we still have the capability to find a way through that. Yeah. And when you're not working towards that, all you're doing is literally spitting back into your God's face and saying, no, I'm not who you think I am.
Yeah.
That was the first line of the Bible.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, when you think about it too, you talk about like working with Dad. I mean, would you have approached it that same way if you had just gone down there just to get a job? Had you not been working with Dad,
Had I not had the expectation, I don't know. But then again, I know that I wanted to break rock. To me, it's the greatest job I've ever had.
But I think relationships do mean a lot on that. I mean, like just even like doing the book, for example, like, I don't want to come on a podcast with him and embarrass him because I'm, I can come up as a total slob or whatever, or just the work in the book, like, oh, this is going to reflect on him and his book's going to reflect on me. And so we're going to do the best job we can. We're going to put in everything we can, and we're not going to shortchange it because we influence each other. We have an impact on each other. And too often people don't look at life that way. We just go, who cares? We think about ourselves.
It's true. And I think that the people you interact with, all those things at your point there and to this point there, if you play off each other and help each other and keep pushing each other, we pushed each other to make a better outcome. Now, what I'm holding in my hand here, there's over $200,000 invested in the construction of it, the getting it actually into print, and then the marketing piece of it.
You're expensive, Eric.
Well, he was, yeah, he gave me the big time brother discount on the artwork, right? The brother discount on the artwork was huge. So, any of you some that want to get some artwork done by him, he's not giving you the brother discount. And actually, it was a volume discount because we did 60 some odd paintings.
Oh my gosh! It started at 13 and it went to like 61 or something. Like
well, it started off with just each chapter we talked about. It's like read the chapter, and he's like, "Oh, that." We went back and forth. First, it was, "Hey, do you want to illustrate the book?" Then it's like, "I don't illustrate books." I did it one time. That was not fun. Then he agreed after reading it, and then he came up with the idea of he would read it and he would paint what he read in the form of an illuminated manuscript.
Yeah, which I don't do illuminated manuscripts, so it was a very different approach. The whole thing was. Like, why not? Let's try this different thing out.
Then he tries the different way. He goes, I'm going to do it in watercolor. I'm like, why are you experimenting?
I don't paint watercolor.
You're taking it a notch up, huh?
You're going to experiment on my shit here. It's like, okay.
Give us a little background, Eric, on your art background.
I do fine art oil paintings. That's mostly what I do. Like, I do a lot of commissioned work, portrait work, landscape, still life, stuff like that. So what you see on the cover, and the back cover, is more of how I paint. And there's testimonial paintings, there's portraits there. And I've been doing art all my life. I've been doing it full-time for the last few years. I've had some work in museums from time to time, or gallery shows and things like that. But this opportunity, I just, when he proposed it to me, we didn't have a clear idea of what we were going to do. And he, the way he was talking, I want it to be, I can't remember how you put it, but it was something like, where you see it from across the room and it's going to look like this serious book, but you open it up and the message is serious, the message is true, but kind of the way Aaron conveys things, we're talking about ass beatings. And
right.
I wanted a very irreverent approach. So when you mentioned the illuminated manuscripts and you look at what those are, they're mainly in religious texts, right? So cool, we'll take the religious style and we're going to throw a redneck twist to it. With a bit of an irreverent theme.
But, and as I researched illuminated manuscripts, I also found that they were very tongue-in-cheek about stuff. I'd see the most ridiculous little illustrations in these texts, And so I did kind of an amalgamation of it, and then it kind of morphed into becoming its own thing. But I had a wonderful experience doing it, and he really gave me a lot of free rein. I'll never forget the first time that I did some sketches. I was going to show him, and Robert Allen got on the call. He wanted to see what was going on, and I'm thinking, oh, these guys are going to hate this. It's a little wild, And they were like, we love it. This is awesome.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. So Robert cracked up just laughing his head off at the stuff that we were coming up with. Like we had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
The only frustrating point of it was it took so long. It was written in 5 months. And it took a while to do the outline. We worked on the outline for about a month, and I'm just hammering it all out. So 5 months later, it's done. And he's like, go illustrate. I'm like, how long is this?
Yeah, but do you illustrate a book on self-improvement, And so that's the thing is like, how do you illustrate something like that? So I had to read it a number of times just looking for visual elements. And I think that's the beauty of the book, too, because Aaron uses a lot of metaphors. He uses a lot of visuals in the way he talks. And then I'm extracting those out. So when you read it and you're seeing these corresponding pictures, some of which are a little bit out there, it kind of keeps in your mind the things you're reading, helps you retain what you've been taking in. So I think that helps the person who is reading this book and wants to retain it and wants to use it and wants to apply it in their lives.
So let me ask you this, Aaron. Is this a self-help book?
That's probably about the only way you can really describe it.
I've been trying to figure out how to describe it myself.
I think that's really because I think that's where it's the publisher's placing it, and that's where the Kirkus Reviews and Blue Ink Press and others that have reviewed it. That's where they place it at.
Excellent.
And by the grace of God, they've given us some very, very, very good reviews, and they do comment a lot on how I wouldn't say obnoxious, how crazy we've gone with the artwork, because you don't see that.
Right.
You don't see a self-help book with artwork, and if you do see artwork nowadays, it's going to be AI stuff. You don't see anything like this. For it to be all hand painted, various mediums. I mean, he went to the point. Some of the mediums being, is being watercolor, and you have to have this board of sorts. What's it made out of?
It's clay. It's clay. It's
clay. And he would
aquaboard.
carve it so he could get the depth of like the screws in one of. There's a room. There's a the chapter. Take your blue pills and put your helmet on. The screw-in's coming.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, how do you illustrate that?
Yeah.
So the border of it was these screws, and you have the threads, and he would carve that out and silver leaf it.
Okay.
Oh,
Go ahead.
So, talking about all these thoughts and thinking into the art and everything and self-help, I have Robert Allen did the foreword, Dolph DeRoos did the afterword. And what he wrote in there was, we're losing our ability to think. Right? So what are your thoughts on that whole concept, right? With ChatGPT and just social media and the power, are we losing that? And what do people reading this book have to take from that?
The whole concept of the book is thinking.
Yeah.
I start the very first chapter. I give everything you need to know in chapter 1. Because I'm of the mindset, a lot of people say they want to drag you on for 300 pages to finally get something in it, and they're going to hide it there
all fluff
in 282, but you don't know where it's at, right? No, it's like, listen, if you don't want to read long, just read chapter 1. If you do what's in chapter 1 and you can seriously concentrate, then you can accomplish a lot of things. Everything we have is what we've created. The whole Napoleon Hill thing, right? The mind of man can conceive and believe it can achieve.
Yep.
You have to conceive it first, then you have to believe what you just conceived. That's what this is all about, every single bit of it. And I found that was amazing that Dolph extracted that out of it, right? So you got what Robert says, then what Dolph says, and how Dolph did. Robert and Dolph used to tour together, right? They were the two big badasses in the 80s.
They were. There was real estate legends. Yeah.
Absolute legends. People are like, why don't you get some of the more modern guys? Why would I want to get the modern guys?
Right.
Yeah.
You get the guys who are literally the foundation for the modern guys, right? They were the king danglings of this whole damn thing, but they never collaborated in a work before. Now they have collaborated in this, which I thought was really awesome. All I did was ask Dolph when I met him. I spoke at an event where he was up before me, and then I spoke. And Sharon Lecter was there, who's been on your guys' show, and Kim Kiyosaki was there, and John Maxwell. I was on the stage with all these people, right? And I met Dolph the night before, told him I was going to be speaking after him. He stuck around to hear. He came up and talked to me. We chatted, built a pretty cool relationship quickly. Then I asked him, do you mind reading this manuscript and just writing a recommendation? It took him 60 days, but he wrote me 3 pages.
Yeah, that was a long one.
I'm like, wow, can I just use that as my afterward? He goes, I'd be honored. So then then I handed it to Eric, and he's like, I'm painting another one? Painting another one, bro.
Here we go again.
Awesome.
And so, and ultimately the paintings were just going to be for the chapter covers, and then end up being for the forward, and then for the afterward, and then, we got the publisher, and he goes, I want illustrations within the chapters, and I want the cover painted. So Eric, it was never ending for Eric, and we finally end up getting to that point of ending.
Yeah, on that question, one thing that Aaron was talking about that, and I've been thinking about is, he was talking about how he's going through his life, and he's missing all these moments with his kids. And that's kind of because he's on autopilot. He's moving through his career, he's doing all these things, not taking that conscious effort to, set aside that time to focus for the things that really matter, right? And then he has this wake-up call. The point of this book is to get people to sit down and to really focus and plan out what they want their life to be like, not just go into this autopilot. But we find ourselves in a world where when you turn on your phone, you turn on your computer, you have an algorithm telling you exactly what to watch next. And you're not even searching for anything anymore.
Like, oh, that looks good.
You go to YouTube and go, okay, I'm just going to go with what I don't even search for anything to watch because it's just going to tell me, give me the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So somebody somewhere, or this program is telling you what to think, how to think. It's giving you the next thing to think about, and each day goes by, and you've missed out on the whole day, and you've just been taking whatever they've been giving you.
So that's a competitive advantage if you could think now.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
Well,
right.
so I tell my son when he started into the workforce, so your competitive advantage is going to be the fact that you're willing to work. You can have other people there. It's like you need to go into the boss. So what does it take to be the absolute best in my role? And then what do I do when there's nothing else to do? And if you do those things, you'll excel. Yeah. Now he was doing this. He was doing a job over at the airport for FedEx, and within a short window of time, he went from the low guy on total pole to the head guy of that group to then another job within FedEx to now a trainer and all kinds of stuff out in Missouri at the airport there, and a guy probably that has the most skill sets of anybody out there. And he'll go back. Sometimes he's in town back to where, and the same guys are working the same spot where he started.
I hear it.
Again, it just happened. We all have such amazing capability if we'll just tap into it. And what you're just talking about with the algorithms and all that stuff, and people are like, how are we going to save ourselves from what's coming? Unplug.
Just shut it off.
Just shut it off.
That's it.
It's refreshing.
Think. Pick up a book and read. Just read these
a book.
things. Don't have it plugged into you.
Yeah.
And to me, one of the greatest things I did, when people ask me, if I'm taking one of your questions from you, I'm sorry, but is if you go back to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell them? It's like, pick up a book. I didn't start picking up till I was 40.
That was one of my questions.
And here I am, 51, published with this, right? With Robert Allen and Dolph DeRusse and him doing the art.
That's great.
Right? Can you imagine if I picked up the books at 18?
And that's the thing, you have to set yourself apart, right? And setting yourself apart is, you got to do some of the unconventional things. Reading a book is unconventional nowadays. As much as it seemed like it should be. Well, think about it, right? How many people in their homes actually have a library? Yeah. But how many people in their homes have 5 or 6 different big screen TVs?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's, like you said, it's that unplugging, get in, reading, and let this be your tube. Let your mind start to dream and start to realize what you want to come into. And I mean, this is a great topic. We're at the beginning of the year, right? Yeah. So it's, what do you want to see and what do you want to formalize throughout the year? And I think by picking up this book and reading this book is a great way for you to start 2026.
Yeah, read it and then start doing this stuff. I give you the instructions on what to do. If you want even more instruction, we make ourselves available to you.
But see, Aaron, so you're successful, you do all these great things, you speak on stage. Someone like yourself, right? It's like, it must be nice to write a book. You deserve it, right?
Yeah, you know how much I love the words "must be nice." Joel, Floyd. That's those 3 words, "must be nice." We probably loathe more than anything out there, because they don't know the hell that a person goes through to accomplish anything. And what's amazing is no matter how hard you work, no matter how much you attain, retaining it is harder than attaining it. Mm-hmm. I look at every bit of monetary success you get in life is a lot like climbing Everest. Now, I've never done it, so I have no damn interest in it. Mm-hmm. But those guys, when they achieve the summit of Everest, they don't get to stay there long. They're 2-3 minutes. And if they can take a selfie, you take a selfie, you can get your ass down, because that will kill you. We don't ever retain any of our successes. They just don't. You have to keep staying on top of the success, keep working. There's another summit right above it, because otherwise, if you don't go to the next summit, you won't retain the summit you just got. Right. So success is very, very fleeting. Some may say, hey, Eric may not be making, selling a painting for $1 million, but that is his sole profession right now. That itself is great success. Being able to have something that is your sole profession, which is an amazing thing. Me, it's being able to be involved in 5 different things. That's my success. Now, if I end up being broke and penniless, it doesn't mean I was an unsuccessful person.
That's true.
Good point. Like what you said about your brother, like sometimes we look, like you take for granted where you're at. Like if you think about where you were at 10 years ago, you're actually living your dream, like right now, right? And that's so cool. Yeah. Like you said, we just get ahead of it.
Yeah.
It's wild. And you said there's a summit right above it. It's kind of like rhymed was a good tagline. I don't know, maybe.
Well,
I don't know if I would say that.
Well, and so
the way you said it would well.
I appreciate it. There's a summit above the summit that you're on. There always is.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as attaining the summit. And from what I have seen, I always equate this by the grace of God has He placed the fog over every summit that I achieve, because if I had to look and see what it really takes to get there, I probably wouldn't climb that summit.
Well, like in your industry, probably every industry, the first of the month, it's like, okay, we're starting over.
Yeah.
End of the month, everybody's going crazy, hair's on fire, and you're all happy that you closed out so many loans, and then okay, it's now the first. Here we go again.
Love it, man.
Well, and a part of that unplugging, right, is because people are on social, so they're seeing basically the commercials of a person's life, right?
That's right.
We're showing what we want you to see. So we're always showing the glory. Hey, look at this, what I accomplished. Look at this. But they're not showing the whole story, right? So it's like you're showing, and I don't want to say materialistic stuff, but you're showing that I accomplished, but you're not feeding the whole story to the people where, hey, I went down on a motorcycle accident, right? I was broke. I was $1.7 million in debt. You know, I couldn't remember. I had to work my way out of all of this. And a lot of people, if they say, well, if Aaron had to go through that, I don't think I'd be able to do it. So that's why you say it's good that, you know, God kept the fog over your summits, because only thing you know is just to keep climbing.
Yep.
Keep climbing out of this, and I know that there's something at the top, and that's what we, you know, that we always want to share with our members is there's always something at the top, but you got to keep going. So if it's, you know, your first deal or, you know, your 200th deal, you're always striving to do something, because, you know, our lives are based on progress. If we stop moving, we're dead, right? Anything that's not growing is actually dying.
Yeah.
So you have to keep growing, and I think, you know, you hit some great things in this book about
Well,
that.
there's at least 13 ass beatings that you're going to face.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just the ones we can articulate it in 170 whatever pages.
Yeah, I
What
wasn't willing to illustrate the 15th one.
What you're talking about right there, what people saying that maybe they don't want to go through that type of an ass beating to get there, but that's what I had to go through. You don't have to go through that.
Right.
There's people vastly more successful than me when it comes to the monetary way of looking at things. I've got way more stories to tell around a campfire than that. And then there's the people that show the flash of their life. But I know these people, and they're miserable as hell.
Oh my God! See,
You know, the stuff that they've got. Yeah, it's like
more than half.
they're trying to portray something that they want. Everybody's chasing the feeling, but they put out there in socials like they're still trying to show you what they want to become because they haven't achieved it yet.
But what's strange about all that is when you just have highlight reels, in reality, nobody wants to watch a movie where everything goes fine.
Right.
And nothing bad happens. No one wants to read a book where nothing bad happens. There's something about seeing the challenge, even if it's not yours, you're watching somebody go through something about that gets you fired up.
Interesting.
And see somebody overcome it. You know,
Hero's
Rocky would be
journey.
so boring if he was just
Right. If he was just whooping everybody
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
time.
Well, guys, we got to start winding down. So, how do we buy this book, or where do we get it? What's the story?
So for right now, you can go to the normal places, the Amazon, whatever. I always tell everybody go to quitjerkingoff.com. That's where to get it. That
Okay.
is that's the website. Yes, that's the official website, quitjerkingoff.com. And if you misspell it,
Watch
throw a
out.
G in there, put quitjerkingoff.com. It'll take you there.
Okay.
oh,
so-
you had a G on it.
Yeah, I had to buy that one too. Because people
Just in case, yeah.
people were not typing it the way that I did it, and so that's where you go to get it. And then we're going to be working on some promotions and that kind of stuff for folks. We're still trying to iron that out. This is one of those things where I don't have that mindset on how to move these things. I have a team that I'm working with within the publisher and within my own marketing group, and then of course within my company. We just want people to be able to take this and avoid those ass beatings the best they can by taking the lessons that I learned and the other people that they've learned from, and learn how to navigate it without having to actually bleed. But you're going to take a beating. It's going to come. It hopefully is going to be a light one instead of having to get bouncing down the damn pavement to get there.
Okay.
Well said, man. Marcus, want to wrap it up, or any last words, Eric, yourself?
I really appreciate what Aaron's trying to do with this book and the messages putting out there. I have young kids, and as I watch them grow up and things, it seems like the resilience level is getting lesser and less. And I think people need to be aware that, hey, you know what? Things are going to be tough. Look forward to it. Enjoy it. Take it in. Because, I heard somebody say, we're always looking forward to the future. And then when we get there, we're always reminiscing about the past. But we're never taking that time in the present ever, And I think this is a good way to do that. So
Yeah.
Well said. All right, Marcus.
So, power of intentionality. That was something that you mentioned in the book. Be intentional. Go get your book, Redneckonomics. We'll link
It'll be
it in the show
We'll
notes.
have it
Yeah,
everywhere.
we'll link it in the show notes. But go to Amazon, go wherever you need to go, get the book. Let's be intentional. Let's move you from where you were in 2025 to 2026 and beyond. So thank you, Aaron. Thank you,
Yeah,
Eric,
fellas,
for you
thank you.
guys being here and really just giving us a thought, things to move forward and to take action on those things.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for listening to the AZREIA Show with your hosts, Marcus Maloney and Mike Delpreet. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found this information valuable, head over to AZREIA.org and learn more about our community.